You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's a big world out there, and you're just looking for a pat on the back or head. You run around the city, searching for a place to bark, working your tail off with your nose to the ground, sniffing for a few scraps, hoping someone will throw you a bone. You take each lead, collar after collar, hoping one day to take a bite out of success and become the top dog. Fortunately, you come home each day to open arms, open cans, a drink waiting for you, and a comfortable place in front of the TV set. You know you've got it good, really good, because after all, it's a doggy dog world out there. Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with your host, pet expert, and award-winning author Liz Palaika, and this week's co-hosts Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Hi, welcome to It's a Doggy Dog World. I'm your host, Liz Palaika, and with me today are my good friends Petra Burke.
Hello.
And Kate Abbott.
Howdy.
And our special guest, Meg Harrison from Blackwing Farm. Hi.
Welcome, Meg. Welcome.
And the audience applauds. We're going to be talking with Meg about Blackwing Farms, what it is, what it can do for you, and how much
it can do for your puppy dog.
And what it can do for your puppy dog. So, hang on for a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. It's a Doggy Dog World. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Buster, you're telling me my dog food products can't go on your shelves?
That's right. Didn't pass one of my Petco certified nutrition checklists. Sorry, Wayne.
Who made these checklists?
Geniuses. Very smart guys.
Well, it's good enough for most grocery stores.
Do you see cheese puffs on my shelves? Mayonnaise? Soda pop?
No.
That's because I ain't running no grocery store, Wayne. Your pets will get better nutrition. I guarantee it. Petco, where healthy pets go.
Enter the code DOGGY, D-O-G-G-Y, and save 10% on orders of $65 or more, plus free shipping at petco.com.
The world has changed. 1 in 5 relationships now begin on an online dating site. And while you never know where things will lead, Match.com has led to more dates, more relationships, and more marriages than any other site. Join today.
Pet Life Radio listeners get 25% off the price of a membership. Just go to mevio.match.com and enter the code DOGGY, D-O-G-G-Y. That's mevio.match.com and enter the code DOGGY to get 25% off Match.com.
How would you like your business to reach out and invite in our audience? We have a brand new trademark concept called Info Seeds. Info Seeds are short 20-second seeds of information about your place of business, practice, or service. We only have a limited number of slots left. For more information, visit
PetLifeRadio.com.
Click on sponsorship information. There you can listen to a sample of Info Seed or email us at
PetLifeRadio.com.
Remember, only a limited number of opportunities are available.
This year, Americans are expected to spend a jaw-dropping $36 billion on their pets. From lighted leashes to high-end spa products, the discriminating pet owner can find just about anything to pamper his or her pet. Hi, this is Michelle Fern. Join me every week for Best Bets for Pets, where we'll talk about the latest pet products and talk to the companies that make them. Best Bets for Pets, every week, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com. We know you're begging for more. So back to It's a Doggy Dog World with your fetching hosts, Liz Palaika, and this week's co-hosts, Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Welcome back to It's a Doggy Dog World. We're talking today with Meg Harrison from Blackwing Farms, and we've been a fan of her homeopathic remedies for a long time. In fact, we refer lots of people to Meg. So we figured we'd give her a chance to tell the world what they are. So what is Blackwing Farms, and how did it come to be?
Most of the products are homeopathics, flower essences. They came to be because I worked with very difficult horses that had been abused, damaged, big behavior problems. And what we found was, as they were helping the horses, then the guard dogs that nobody could handle before were now friendly. The feral cats were coming down from the hayloft and being friendly. So we found that it was cross-species. And now today, even though all my remedies started for horses, 80% of them now are dogs and cats.
That doesn't surprise me. I think a lot of dog owners, I'm not as familiar with remedies for cats myself, but I couldn't get near my cat to give her a remedy if I wanted to. I have a formerly feral who's still pretty feral. But for dogs, I know a lot of dog owners are looking at more natural foods, natural techniques, natural remedies. So I'm sure it's probably growing in popularity.
It is. It's growing tremendously because I've been doing it for 40 years. I started with teenage alcoholics. And because trying to get a breakthrough with them. So what I realized after a bad horse accident was that, gee, it's the same. They're damaged. They've got emotional problems. Their needs aren't being met emotionally. I kind of also now look at it when love is not enough. You can love them, you can train them, you can do everything, but maybe there's some post-trauma that they just can't get over. It's in the muscle memory. Mm-hmm. And that does happen.
Well, in the brain memory.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very reactive. So, is there actually a farm?
Well, I do wildcraft. So I get most of my remedies my flowers right from here in San Diego County.
Okay.
Wildcraft.
Meaning I will find, for instance, mustard. My mustard is a good essence for lingering depression. I use the mustard that grows in front of the San Luis Rey Mission. And without going too much into history, 100 years ago, when the Native Americans were forced into the missions for education and for living, separated from their families.
Right.
They would go, and at night, they would meet their families along the fence line and then have to leave again. The mustard grows right at the fence line.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is cool.
That is pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
Think about it.
And I think that the flowers almost know where to grow. After Katrina, the first flower to bloom, the very first flower to bloom right outside of the French Quarter was Angel's Trumpet, which is something that's used for assisted suicide. And there were the suicides down there in the Gulf region tripled after Katrina, and that was the first flower to bloom. I use it as an essence because it's about knowing your best. It's about seeing a challenge right in front of you and making the right choice.
Well, let's talk a little bit about definitions before we go too much farther. Yeah. What is a homeopathic remedy?
A homeopathic remedy is something it's like cures like, is the way that it was discovered. And it was discovered actually at the Panama Canal because the natives that were down there, the Panamanians who were working on the canal, kept chewing cinchona bark and didn't ever get sick from malaria. Whereas the other people, the Americans and the French, were dying by the dozens. And so quinine is in the cinchona bark.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was also research in the 1800s in Europe, too. But a lot of things have multiple discoveries.
What was that?
I can't remember his name right off the bat, but it was a physician in England, I believe, who was dissatisfied with the way the conventional medicine of that time didn't work. Mm-hmm. And so he also began work with the law, he called it the law of similars. Mm-hmm. Like cures like.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Hanneman, I think.
There you go.
Yes, you go. I think
right,
so, yeah.
Right. And I believe that was in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he came up with a huge list of homeopathic remedies also.
And Dr. Bach, who originally discovered the flower essences with the famous rescue remedy.
Right.
Dr. Bach was a homeopathic physician.
Right,
mm-hmm.
Right.
And, yeah.
Okay, so that's homeopathic. What are, you mentioned the term essences. Let's mm-hmm. define that.
Those are literally, it is flowers, water, and sunshine. Mm-hmm. It is that simple. And Dr. Bach wanted to find a way that could help prevent and heal disease in the human body. And he thought that thoughts have so much to do with dictating to the body. That's why I think that it works so well with dogs, is because the thought is creating a reaction. And if we can change that thought, if the flower essences can help change that thought, it's going to help change the reaction. Mm-hmm. Dominant, pushy, afraid, shut down, failure to thrive. We can help all of those with essences.
Very good. Yeah. So what is probably your most common one? What is the one you sell the most of?
There's two that kind of vie with each other, and one is called Drama Trauma. And that is actually, that's 6 flowers. The original rescue remedy is 5 flowers. And I added Star Tulip because Star Tulip is wonderful for grounding. And what I always say about the dogs is it gets them off their toes. So if we can get them off their toes, they're relaxed, they're more grounded, but also the throat latch is softened, the shoulders are down, the fur relaxes, and they can hear you. So that's Drama Trauma. And the other one is Shelter Blend that I made for the Katrina animals. And that has 2 homeopathics in there, one for shock and one for muscle memory.
Oh, we've recommended the
Shelter Blend or
Drama
Trauma.
Yes,
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yes.
I think we do a lot because we have a lot of issues. Well, living here near Camp Pendleton, the dogs or even the family, when their loved ones go off to Afghanistan, Iraq, get deployed. And we see it coming here, the family's stressed, the dog's stressed, dad's not there, home is in disarray, everything's upside down. Or we get the dogs that can't handle the booming, the practice out there constantly. You have some dogs that grow up here, just no problem, but then there's ones who move in, they were stationed here, and then they hear all this booming going on.
Yes.
The guy who details my car, they've got 2 rescue pitties. They're here from New Jersey. And they're living now in Oceanside, about 10 minutes from the front gate of Camp Pendleton. And one of their pitties is not sound sensitive to other sounds. Car backfires are fine.
Right.
But the booming, reverberating booming of the artillery on Pendleton. And we put her on
on the Drama Trauma.
Drama Trauma. And she's doing much better. And in fact, Allison says, I know when I've run out and I have her off it for a few days, because then the dog starts just going,
yeah.
For the longest time, I lived in Fallbrook, right near Camp Pendleton, because they have live ammo there about once a week at least.
Depends on their training schedule,
Okay. And I had a German Shepherd, and I kept telling everybody, oh no, it's breed specific. German Shepherds and Papillons. I didn't even try my own remedy on my own dog. And 4th of July with the fireworks and, the gunshots and everything else. And I gave him a lot of Drama Trauma. I put it in his water, his food, his treats. I sprayed the front of his chest. I sprayed my hands and gently petted him. At 9:30, I had to wake him up to make sure he was okay. He slept through his worst nightmare.
Yeah. You started to say something, Kate?
Yeah, even dogs that are used to backfires and gunshots. What did you tell me the size of the artillery is?
Oh, some of 500-pound bombs.
Yeah.
And especially if we've got a cloud cover, the cloud cover holds the sound down and it just reverberates.
It'll make the windows in my house rattle.
And you live
I'm
farther
quite
away. Yeah.
So there are many ways to use the product. You're talking internally, externally.
Yes, and what I've now put on my white page, my frequently asked questions, I say just get it in the vicinity. They don't need to ingest it. It doesn't even need to be on them at all.
They can breathe it.
Exactly, even not, because when we were at Katrina, Rita struck, Hurricane Rita, and the dogs were totally shut down, weren't eating or drinking at all, just so stressed. So we just sprayed it in the air. Of course, the air was 80 miles an hour at that point. But out of 5 barns, we had the quietest barn. We were voted the quietest barn the following morning, and there were 5 volunteers asleep on FEMA cots through Hurricane Rita. So we got a lot of it too. And but so again, seeing is believing.
Yeah. Well, along seeing is believing. One of your products that you gave us to try the last time you were out here at the training yard, the Calm
Balm. Oh,
we have been using that. Several of the trainers, including myself, carried in our training bags.
Really?
And when we've got a dog who's a little antsy, a little scared, we just rub it on our hands.
Really? That's wonderful.
We just rub it on our hands, and then when you're standing, if you stand sideways or diagonal to a troubled dog, and you just drop your hand, and pretty soon your nose is going sniff, 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 and invariably, in a few minutes, you'll hear him take a breath. The problem's not over, but at least he's taking a breath. And when he's taking a breath, like you said, then he can listen. But we've used it quite a bit.
I am glad
Connie,
to hear
Melissa,
that.
and I are. I don't know if
I never got any.
You didn't get one?
I gotta get
Well,
some.
you know what? It's not even on the website yet. So, but you know what? I happen to have one in my truck. I'll make sure you get one just for Kate.
Yeah.
Kate gets 2.
Who's the one who
Kate
gets to go
two.
work out with the Kate Corsa when she comes?
But you know, I like that stuff. Okay, so I have a confession.
You like it for yourself?
Yes!
It smells good.
Which
well,
one?
at work, it's so stressful because everything's going on that the calm
Oh,
balm.
the calm balm. Oh,
I
excellent.
have it in
excellent.
my purse, and I just put it on. Just sit there, and just back of my hand, and if people walk in, going, "What are you doing?" I go,
Sniffing my
"Sniffing
hand.
my hand." It just feels so good, and I'm relaxed.
So that way, when you
That is wonderful.
So when she
Wonderful.
fires somebody, she fires him kindly.
when she gives an employee the back of her hand, at least he'll be calm about it. Yeah.
I talk like this, and go into the air.
And the people are going, these Italians just wave their hands.
That's delightful to
I
hear.
love that.
No,
Wonderful.
I love
Wonderful.
the calm bomb.
Good, good, good.
I'll be glad when you get it out on the market.
Excellent.
Hint, hint.
Excellent. Hint, hint. And the second one that we're going to come up with is pure lavender. And that's in the same organic beeswax. We were just talking about bees and bee pollen and honey. It's organic beeswax, olive oil, and vitamin E with essential oils. So there's the oil line, too, in addition to anything with flowers, I guess I have to say. But that's going to be pure lavender, and we're calling that one bitch balm.
Well, we'll have to get it by the case here.
We have new signature perfumes.
We'll have to go in business with her and put a Kindred Spirits label on it.
The bitch bomb's perfect.
Since if you read the
bumper
stickers behind
What's
you,
it say? What's
I
it
am
say?
not a bitch, I am the bitch, and it's Miss Bitch to you.
Or my favorite, you say I'm a bitch like it's a bad thing.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right. Yeah, private label for Kindred Spirits.
Right. Oh. Well, I know two of the ones that we like here also are the Confidence and the Beyond Learning.
They're terrific. And what we found, and I don't know if you've used it this way, what we found is those work beautifully for adult puppy mill dogs. The dogs that have insecure dominant behavior. Is that what you call it here during training? What are the other things that...
Well, we don't classify them a whole lot. We just look at the individual dog. Mm-hmm. For example, one of our trainers adopted a 10-month-old adolescent. Mm-hmm. And in the space of several months, there was not only the trauma of the adoption, but there were a couple deaths in the family. The older dog passed away.
They moved homes.
They moved to a new home.
Both grandparents passed away.
So
I thought it was within 5 months.
Our trainer was, obviously devastated. Her family's devastated. They lost the oldest dog in the household. So this poor adolescent has just been beyond herself. Mm-hmm. And all of the training that was started basically came to a standstill. And we're still keeping it very, very low key because of all this emotional stress. And she's the kind of dog that whatever her owner feels, she sucks right up like a sponge. Mm-hmm. So she was on the drama trauma for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And now is going on the Confidence and Beyond Learning. And actually, I took her off the Beyond Learning for a little while and just told her, just work on the Confidence for a little while.
Good advice.
And then once she settles down a little more, then we'll put her back on the Beyond Learning. Mm-hmm. So that's the way we often use it.
That's a great thing.
All right. Well, at that, we need to take a break for our sponsor. So hold on. We got lots more questions for Meg, more for Meg to tell us. So stay tuned.
Sit. Stay. It's a Doggy Dog World. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Love your pets but wish their medications were a lot less expensive? They are at 1-800-PET-MEDS. You'll not only save on flea and heartworm medications, but on prescriptions for arthritis, incontinence, thyroid, and more. And you get fast service, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, our licensed pharmacists ensure accuracy, monitor drug interaction, and more. See why over 5 million people have trusted their pet's health to 1-800-PET-MEDS, America's largest pet pharmacy. Call now or order online.
Go to petmeds.com/world, WORLD, to get 10% off any order and free shipping on orders of $39 or more at petmeds.com.
Whether they're big, small, hairy, or whatever, you're going to need gear for your feet. And Kids Foot Locker's got all the great shoes and gear that'll get you in the game.
Go to kidsfootlocker.com and enter the code AFDOG1KF to get 10% off any order of $50 or more. Or enter the code AFDOG2KF to get 15% off any order of $75 or more at kidsfootlocker.com.
And cover those funky feet.
How would you like your business to reach out and invite in our audience? We have a brand new trademark concept called InfoSeeds. InfoSeeds are short 20-second seeds of information about your place of business, practice, or service. Is the best, most cost-effective way to invite us in. We only have a limited number of slots left. For more information, visit the website
PetLifeRadio.com.
Click on sponsorship information. There you can listen to a sample of InfoSeed. Remember, only a limited number of opportunities are available.
Hi everybody, I'm Megan Blake here with my sidekick Super Smiley, the giant mutt and spokes dog for throwaways. You're listening to Pet Life Radio, and I'd like to tell you about our brand new show, A Super Smiley Adventure. Our show explores adventures with animals. They can be traveling, out in the world trips, or inner journeys where our animals lead us to inspiration and self-discovery, or just plain fun adventures. Join us here on Pet Life Radio on A Super Smiley Adventure. Good boy.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
We know you're begging for more. So back to It's a Doggy Dog World with your fetching hosts, Liz Palika, and this week's co-hosts, Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
And welcome back to It's a Doggy Dog World. We're talking to Meg Harrison today from Blackwing Farms about her homeopathic and natural products, some of which in the first half we told you that we like here at Kindred Spirits and that we've been using or recommending for our clients. Oh, and she just gave Kate some calm balm.
No, this is another new one, and this is called Braveheart.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, you like that? Yeah, it's bay laurel, West Indies bay,
I can
lime,
smell it.
bergamot, and help me, I'm the mad scientist. I can never remember all the ingredients, but yeah, isn't that nice? So it's called Braveheart because sometimes the animals are really trying their darndest. They're really trying for everything they've got, and people just aren't seeing it. And so this is Braveheart.
So is this for communication?
Yes, excellent for communication. But also for, I call it a leg up. I call it a leg up. So it's if there's something we were talking about the gap in training before, leave it can be a big gap.
Sure.
This shortens the gap.
Yeah,
a little like bitch balm will actually just give them a chance to be kinder, softer immediately.
So for women that are PMSing or in menopause.
Yes.
She did not argue with us there.
No, that would be the bitch.
No,
that's the bitch bomb.
Yeah, right.
The Braveheart.
I'm the one with all gray hair.
I'm working with a collie who had learned helplessness.
What is that? What do you mean?
Well, dogs can learn helplessness in a couple different ways. One is, say, circumstances are beyond the dog's control, and he is faced with negative things that he can't make a choice to do one or another. He's just really stuck. So an abusive home, Hurricane Katrina.
Yes.
The other side of it is that we see in toy breed dogs all the time, is so babied, so overloved,
so protected
that the dog can no longer make a choice.
Okay.
And if faced with adversity, they just totally shut down. So it's like a little toy breed dog, not a Chihuahua so much because, sorry, Chihuahua owners, but most Chihuahuas are very capable of making choices. But say maybe a Papillon who lives in the arms all the time, and suddenly he's faced with some kind of adversity and needs to make a choice, and he can't. So he just stops everything.
So it's a little different than failure to thrive. It's a little different than shelteritis.
This is
an emotional response striking, and then with a physiological demonstration of it. So the collie I was working with, lovely home, other collies, great life, but then went to the stress of a dog show and a stranger putting hands upon... Now, they had practiced the examination, but by people who knew the dog. So all of a sudden, a stranger came, and it was a stormy day, and the umbrellas on the side of the ring fell over, and somebody knocked over some folding chairs, and the dog hit the ground with her belly and pancaked and stayed there. That was it. I'm going to die, and I can't do anything about it. And just lay there.
So rather than a dog who's experienced adversity, I mean, we want our dogs to have a wonderful life, but they also need to face some stresses so they learn they can deal with them. And this dog never did. And so that's one of the aspects of learned helplessness. So
I'm thinking Braveheart.
I think that would be delightful. Oh gosh, Kate's going to get my one and only. The other one went to Dr. Chaz Reinhardt, but you get this one.
She works with that.
No, I would love to see. Give me feedback and tell me how the collie does.
She works with that dog once a week, every week. It's going on 2 years now, and she's making huge strides. She'll even play games now that she wouldn't before. And she's been to dog shows.
And she's taken first in shows.
Well, that's how we all met, was at the AKC event. And that was years ago. But and confidence and beyond learning, going back to those, confidence is great in the show ring. Because so they don't have too much confidence or not enough. It's the other thing about flower essences, they balance those extreme behaviors. So confidence, if the dog is just going to, as the judge comes up and the dog just pulls away or goes towards.
Right.
It will absolutely balance. So too much or not enough.
The last show she went to was her and her sister, her littermate. And so the judge said, I'm just, they're so close in looks and they both move so well, but she had more confidence. And I just, I really don't care about the show, I'm sorry. But the idea that the dog had more confidence than her sister.
Right. It's such a huge
we knew we'd made some big steps.
Yeah.
Well, and then that when they go to the groomers or any place else, they're going to be treated better. If they
behave better.
Good manners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I can speak to the efficacy of your product as well.
Yes.
Hammock
blend. Oh, love it.
Now, which is that one?
That's what I do. That's what I use.
Is that the one you're spraying on your pillow?
Yes. Let's see, the first time you were here at the field, and Petra came over and grabbed me by the scruff of my shirt.
Yes, I remember. And said, Kate has to have this. Yes.
I've been talking to her, and you have to buy this right now. And I'm like, what is it? Okay.
Blend is cinnamon and bergamot, and it's, okay, so you've been spraying it on your pillow?
It's for insomnia.
Yes, it is. And, and more nightmares and... Yes, some really tough stuff. Yeah,
I bought it just because I do what I'm told.
Sometimes. Don't let her fool you. Sometimes.
And I went home and I shook it and sprayed it on the pillow and put it on my hands and patted it. And I fully expected to smell rose petals and lavender and chamomile and all these soothing, wonderful things. And instead I went, whoa, rich, earthy, wow. How am I ever going to... This is so stimulating. How am I ever going to fall asleep?
That's crazy, isn't it?
It really was a shock to take that first couple of... I said, well, this isn't going to work at all. And then that was crap.
That is wonderful. That is cinnamon oil, cinnamon bark oil, and bergamot. And bergamot is an Italian citrus tree. There are, somehow that I know Italy and I know citrus is so maybe I'm making up the tree part. But that's wonderful to hear. And then the crazy thing is, some people use it first thing in the morning when they go to the office because it helps them to focus. So me too. If I do choose, I don't do it when I'm driving because it makes me just nod out. So I don't even do it in the car. But some people,
and I found that I used it nightly for 10 days or so, and then I thought I'll try it, and I was able to go to sleep. So now if I kick back into laying awake and fretting, then I'll bring it out. Get myself back in the habit of falling asleep.
And that's exactly why we call it hammock blend, because it's go to the hammock, take a nap, and when you wake up, your life will be reprioritized.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Very cool.
Thanks, Kate.
It
That's
worked.
awesome.
Yeah, it works.
That's awesome. And thank you, Petra, for getting her over there.
No problem.
Petra grabs me by the scruff of the neck. I listen.
Now, there's a couple that we've used for training students, and one of them is focus, and then, of course, the one we mentioned before with confidence, the beyond learning. Now, what is the difference between those two?
Well, the focus I kind of did because it was like, I'll be honest, I made it for border collies. Because they're so fixated sometimes. And again, apologies to the Border Collie people. I've had 5 in my life. I love them.
Sure. But they can definitely be...
OC.
Yeah.
OC with a D. Yeah, exactly. And they get fixated, and you could be on another planet. They just don't hear you. So that was for them, and that's why I made Focus.
Okay.
Focus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I just adopted a Jack Russell Terrier.
Oh,
yeah. Well, we've got some up there on the
Do you
shelf.
have Focus up there? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good.
And then how about the Beyond Learning? What is that one?
The Beyond Learning was actually originally made for a beautiful paint mare. Absolutely gorgeous, but really couldn't think her way out of a paper bag. She had all the breeding, all the beauty, everything going, but she would rear, she would fall over. She didn't care if she got hurt or somebody else. And so I kind of put together a little special something for her. And again, that translates so well to the dogs. And what I tell people, first of all, I always say get a trainer. Get a trainer, get a behaviorist, make sure that you're doing the right thing for the dog. But the other thing I say with Beyond Learning is give the dog a new job.
I love this woman.
She fits in just great.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a backpack or a water bottle or go get me a beer out of the fridge.
Get the newspaper in the morning.
Exactly. And I also tell everybody with whatever the behavior is, that if it's the mail being dropped in and you need trauma, or it's a hurricane and you need shelter plan, you need a new word to go with the new behavior or a new sound. Either a tisk or a kiss or something, but something new. And then that triggers in the handler's, the owner's mind also. I'm going to get a new behavior. So it's a win-win.
What are some other ones, since our listeners are used to us talking about training issues, what are some other ones that could help people in training?
In training, those, you've hit them. You've hit the right ones. There is one called cooperation, which I love to get into the shelters also, because what I find with the shelter dogs, and correct me if this isn't so, is that they are leash pullers. They just pull, and that's not right for an 8-year-old handling a Mastiff or, as we were talking about earlier. So cooperation is fabulous for that. It establishes kind of a trust and a bond between the human and the animal. So those flower essences are in there.
Do you know where the leash pulling comes from?
Where? What?
They use slip leads. They don't use collars. They slip this slip lead over the dog's head, and then to make sure the dog doesn't pull out of it, they pull it tight. And so the dogs push against restraint, and so the automatic reaction is to push against that tight leash.
Then does it become that automatic behavior no matter what at a throat?
Then it becomes a habit.
It's called oppositional reflex. Dogs go the opposite direction from which they are forced to. That is their reflex to do.
That's why you can hook a husky up to a sled and he'll pull it umpteen hours in the deep snow because he has this reflex, this behavior.
Whereas the quick snap or an interrupting voice or something like that breaks that reflex of continuing to pull.
And then you can go, yoo-hoo, I'm here.
A new word. A new word to go with the new behavior. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. The other one that regrettably sometimes we do have to talk about is the grief, depression, and shock.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I sure know that one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My husband was killed in a traffic accident about 4 months ago, and his service dog lost his mind. His service dog, panic attacks, and they were at my house one day to see the panic attack. I was talking about the panic attacks because, as a service dog, he was used to working. And I was still there in the home. The other 3 dogs were still there, but the important person in his life wasn't there. And Paul had made business trips, so he'd be gone for a few days and come back. And so Archer could figure that out. But when Paul didn't come back and didn't come back and didn't come back and didn't come back, Archer would stare at me, he'd whine, he'd bark, he'd clutch me with his claws. He was panic attack. He was losing his mind.
Which broke your heart, too, because he was a good boy, but he would go into Paul's closet and get down Paul's clothes and make a nest out of them.
And lay in the closet. And I'd go looking for him and find him back there on a pile of Paul's clothes. So I cleaned out the closet. Then he went into Paul's office and pulled down his motorcycle riding gear and would lay on his riding gear. He had a big pile in there. I mean, he had a foot thick and he was laying on all this stuff. So I tried the rescue remedy. I tried the drama trauma. I tried a number of different things, including pharmaceuticals from the veterinarian. But basically what I did is I found him a new working home with a cousin of mine who Archer just glammed onto like the strongest magnets, and they're wonderful. But, the idea of having to find a new home for my husband's dog was, something. I mean, I didn't want to think about that. But,
the thing that did help Archer before you rehomed him was working him.
Yeah.
But I suspect, too, that...
Not me working him. Kate working him.
I had to,
Yeah. Me working him didn't work.
Oh.
But
no,
I think...
he didn't want me. He didn't want me.
Mm-hmm. Well, then he enjoyed working with Jeff.
He enjoyed working with Jeff?
He enjoyed working with the men.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if I worked with him, I channeled Paul.
She would try to mimic Paul's way of giving commands and a deeper voice, and he would work with her. And we have a male trainer, Jeff, and he would work with Jeff. Mm-hmm. And he worked with my cousin when he came out to meet Archer and to work with him. It was great. But no, he didn't want anything to do with me. I was the one that made Paul disappear, and I didn't bring him back, as far as he was concerned, in his mind. So, boy, I can understand a homeopathic for grief. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Now, what are the ingredients in that?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Oh,
that's not fair. Archer didn't blame you. He knew that you wouldn't make him work because you felt too bad for him.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I got the feeling from him during his panic attacks, Mom, bring him home, and I couldn't do what Archer wanted. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so the ingredients, it's got aconitum, which is the homeopathic. It's a 30X homeopathic, and aconite is that little blue flower that's good for shock. And then it's got echinacea, which is all about, we know, good system. Stuff. But it's got the mustard, just like what I was talking about before, forget-me-not, which is a wonderful flower, because it's not about getting over the grief. It's about working through it. Yep. Absolutely. And then yarrow, which is also what I took to Katrina. It's good for environments, accepting a new environment. And
isn't yarrow good for calming the system also?
Yes. And it's good for blood streams. It's good for blood work. Yeah.
Digestive tract. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So calming,
We gave seed packets of Forget-Me-Not at my foster brother's funeral.
Nice.
To everybody that came.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Side note. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I think what you were trying with Archer helped him calm down enough to be able to work with him. And I think that's the idea among most of your stuff. It by itself is not
the answer.
The full solution.
Not always, no.
Yeah.
But it often helps them calm down enough so you can communicate, so you can teach.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. And that's why I have so many trainers that use it. They love it. And that's how I got into it also, was because of the training. Made me look good. But the other thing is, it is possible, and I didn't believe it before I went to Katrina, that you can spray a barn of 250 dogs and not have anybody near them, but they change their behavior. We call it emotional nutrition.
Sure.
But I do highly recommend training all the time.
The power of pheromones are becoming more and more clear. So how all of that... A couple of years back, I was experiencing the power of hormones. I'm a believer that an emotional chemical that affects you emotionally can also affect your sanity. So it makes perfect sense to me that we can use other chemicals.
So if we have people that are interested in the Braveheart or the Bitch Bomb or the Calm Bomb, when are those going to be available?
Well, now that you've pushed me, Liz, very quickly they will be on the website. How about I promise what, 2-3 weeks? I'll promise 2-3 weeks.
Okay, there you go.
And that's
how will people find you?
And that's easy. It is blackwingfarms.com. And they can always call. I give free consultations also.
There you go.
Blackwingfarms.com?
Yes.
And her website will be revising shortly?
Yes.
To be updated?
Yes. Yep. Again, I do as I'm told.
So good.
So what else do you want to say before we close?
Nothing other than thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. Absolutely. And learning always. So thank you, ladies. Thank you very much.
All right, listeners. Well, that's it. We're closed for this one. Check out the website, www.blackwingfarms.com, and take a gander. We've used a bunch of her products, recommended a bunch of them.
People and
On
dogs.
people and dogs.
It's just for the dogs.
Grab your friend by the scruff of the neck, take them down to the store, and contact Meg and find out what she recommends.
Do you have any chains that are carrying your products? In different parts of the country?
Best Friends in Kanab, Utah. The Sanctuary in Kanab has us on their online store.
How about stores?
Stores locally, Fraser Farms, and quite a few. But no big chains.
Okay.
No big chains, not yet.
So the best thing is for people to go to the website?
Yes, or to Best Friends Sanctuary.
Okay.
Their online store.
All right. Do you any limits on shipping?
No.
Because we get listeners, we've had listeners from China and Australia and Europe and South Africa.
Now, China will have to call. We've got the Canadian postal thing down. But, we've shipped so far to 6 countries.
Very good.
So we've got distributors in several countries.
All right, cool. All right, listeners, that's it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Having a rough day? Longing for the dog days of summer? Think your fun furry friend lives a dog's life? Well, find out everything you're begging to know as Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with pet expert and award-winning author Liz Palaika. Every dog has his day, and you'll find out how to make your dog's day fun and rewarding every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.